After federal agents spotted and chased Taylor Taranto outside the D.C. home of former President Obama, they say they found these guns, hundreds of rounds of ammunition, and a machete in Taranto's van parked nearby. The feds had already been trying to arrest Taranto for allegedly being part of the mob that attacked the Capitol January 6th, for which he faces 4 misdemeanor charges.
Taylor Taranto, the man you just witnessed in that video, the man who was arrested in Obama's DC neighborhood just last week, was discovered with weapons and was also live streaming in the area the exact same day that Donald Trump shared Obama's address on Truth Social. That is the update to the story. The prosecutors have written a memo in this case indicating that there could be a connection between Trump's post on social media and the actions that Taranto took on that day. Taranto, who had an open warrant for his arrest related to the riot charges, the January 6th riot charges, was arrested last week in Obama's neighborhood with firearms after claiming on an internet live stream the day before that he had a detonator. So you can understand that that kind of threat would lead to federal authorities looking for this guy. I mean, he already had a warrant out for his arrest. Now, the weapons that they found on him, or at least in his van, which he is allegedly living in, included 2 guns, 400 rounds of ammunition, a machete, and according to some reports, materials to make Molotov cocktails. There wasn't a bomb or with a detonator found in the van, at least as far as we know at the moment. He was, again, also found to be living in the van. He's originally from Seattle, but when he was discovered and detained, he was in DC. Now, thanks to this new memo, federal prosecutors have provided more details about him and what the allegations against him happen to be. Let's watch.
Federal prosecutors told a judge Taranto could have learned Obama's address from a social media post by former President Trump. They alleged Trump posted what he claimed was Obama's address on his Truth Social platform the same day Taranto was arrested near the home. Taranto was also accused of targeting Democratic Congressman Jamie Raskin of Maryland, who led Trump's second impeachment. They say Taranto posted a video on June 18th inside an elementary school near Raskin's home.
Now, I want to get to the threats against Raskin in just a moment, but real quick, so on that day that he was found in Obama's DC neighborhood, he also said in a Telegram post, quote, "We got these losers surrounded, see you in hell, Podestas and Obamas." And when it comes to the Raskin-related allegations, apparently on Sunday, June 18th, Taranto and several others entered an elementary school near Raskin's home, with Taranto live streaming the group walking around the school, entering the gymnasium, and using a projector to display a film related to January 6th. And that, again, is according to the prosecutor's filing. Taranto stated that he specifically chose the elementary school due to its proximity to Raskin's home, and that he is targeting Raskin because he's one of the guys that hates January 6 people, or more like Trump supporters. And it's kind of like sending a shockwave through him because I did nothing wrong. And he's probably freaking out and saying stuff like, well, he's stalking me, the filing said.
Yeah, that's because you're stalking him.
Yeah, you're at
with a machete and 400 rounds of ammunition near his kid's elementary school, you freaking lunatic. So there is, letting him out of prison would be insanity, total, utter insanity. So if you're a right winger and you're like, oh, he's got the right to free speech, man. Okay, I mean, free speech with a machete and a bunch of weapons and 400 rounds of ammunition by his guy's neighborhood and his kids. Yeah, man, free speech. No, that's not free speech. That's stalking. That's assault because you're threatening violence, right? There are laws that are clearly being broken here. I'm going to tell you why this is even an issue in a second as to whether he might be let out. By the way, if you're a left winger and you say no bail for anyone, well, okay, to be fair to left wingers, they don't say that, okay? They say that no bail for some poor people under some circumstances. But I gotta be honest with you guys, the reason I brought it up here is because it would probably apply in this case. Because these are like the level of offenses where you have to get into a situation with bail are extreme. It has to be like murder, rape, like
it depends
armed
on the
robbery.
State. It depends on the state.
And it definitely depends on the state and the jurisdiction. Thank you for that clarification.
Yeah, and in this case, we're talking about federal prosecutors. But yeah, I mean, point taken. And look, just to comment on your free speech point, obviously protecting free speech is important, but there are limitations to every constitutional right, including the First Amendment. So you're not allowed to go around threatening people's lives or threatening people with violence. Now after his involvement on January 6th, prosecutors wanted him to be detained pending a trial, but the judge said that he couldn't do that, mostly because of the fact that he's only facing 4 misdemeanor charges.
That's right.
And there needs to be proof that this guy is a flight risk, and there was no indication of that. So they did not detain him pending a trial. And so now the real question is, considering the very legitimate threats that he put out there, the fact that he was found in Obama's neighborhood, will they detain him until he faces trial for both January 6th and also these latest charges? We'll see what happens.
Well, so now the explanation of why. So they're trying to keep him in jail because of January 6 charges, but they already failed on that because they're misdemeanors. And I'm sorry, but like I said, the right wing and the left wing agree that on misdemeanors you should walk until your trial, right? So now there's new threats against Obama and Raskin, and yes, Kevin McCarthy as well, obviously the leader of the Republicans in the House. So, but they haven't charged those. So I'm wondering what's taking so long.
Yeah,
this is a potential assassination attempt on a former president. What are we waiting on? And I think that they're probably a little worried about, like, hey, is it actual assault because he's saying, hey, you're gonna get it, but he didn't say, I'm gonna chop your head off. Oh, you're in a lot of trouble, and I know where you live, and I know where your kids are, but he didn't say he was gonna dismember them, right? So, and by the way, the guy brags about it. He's like, oh, I got told by another right winger how to cheat and threaten them but calling it free speech. And that if you don't say you're gonna do it directly, they can't do anything about it. No, okay, so is this the loopholes games we're playing? And now right wingers prepare to have your feelings hurt. So are all Republicans lunatics going around Raskin and Obama's house? Of course not, right? But you guys ever say anything about this? I've never seen it. I've never seen a right-wing media pundit or politician. No, to be fair, sometimes the politician, because it affects them, like McCarthy, right? But the pundits, like for example, us, we're principled and we pay the price for it, right?
Oh yeah.
So when a left-wing activist surrounded, Riley Gaines, that swimmer, and wouldn't let her out of a room, we're like, don't do that, guys. They didn't touch her, but she felt trapped in that room, and the cops thought she was trapped in that room, and she was a little afraid, right? And I'm like, that's not helpful to our cause. I mean, we're calling that out, right? On the right wing, are you calling out the lunatics? And are you telling me, oh yeah, it's all even, man? Really? Are there people circling around, Republic? Actually, in fact, the one time that they did a candlelight vigil in front of Brett Kavanaugh's house, Republicans are like, pass a law. You should never be allowed to protest a Republican. How dare you? What do you think, you got freedom? Now they're like, oh, they're about to murder Raskin and Obama and maybe their kids. Oh, that's fine, no big deal. I don't see any problem. I see no evil, I hear no evil. Right-wingers, violence, we would never be violent. Go get him, every lunatic in our audience, go get him. That's what the right wing says every day, and that's why you have guys like this.
Okay, so just a few points of clarification. Riley Gaines did allege that she was hit by one of those protesters, although that hasn't been proven yet, and I haven't seen any updates on that. I just wanted to mention that. The other thing I wanted to just quickly mention is, look, this is a guy who's living in his van. I'm not trying to say like, let him go. Okay, I do think that he is a threat to public safety. He has made numerous threats, not just to Obama, not just to Raskin, even Kevin McCarthy. Like, the fact that if this is proven to be true, all Trump would need to do is post an address and this guy would show up, tells me that he's not well. So like, what I wanna argue is, yeah, I mean, I think that it would be helpful if the more moderate Republicans, whatever, like said that they do not stand with this, that they condemn it. But more importantly, if let's say, this is so laughable, but like if Bernie Sanders did something like what Obama did and like posted a political opponent's address online, I would be specifically condemning Bernie Sanders for that.
Yeah, what are you doing posting addresses for, Bernie? Well, why would you put McConnell's address? What does that have to do with getting paid family leave or higher minimum wage? We would say, and not only that, we've proven it. We've said it 100 times in different instances and upset our own side. Oh, no, don't be principled, don't be. It's okay when we do it, but not okay when they. But also, no false equivalencies. Like the worst we've gotten from the left is, did they touch Riley Gaines? Did they brush up against Riley Gaines or not? Whereas other sides got bombs in the vans, and you got the guys sending the pipe bombs to every Democrat there is. There's the shooting after shooting after shooting after shooting. It's not a coincidence. The right-wing media weaponizes people that they know are mentally unwell in their audience. They know they're speaking to a broad audience, but instead of saying, hey guys, don't do violence, don't do anything physical, as we say 1,000 times on this show, they're like, well, I mean, is somebody gonna do anything about this? I mean, this is the worst thing in the world, right? Lunatics, go grab a weapon. And weapons are awesome, weapons are awesome. Let's go get them. Well, I didn't say anything. So is Tucker Carlson that different than this guy? Who's like, hey, technically, I'm not sure I did anything illegal. Okay, I just told you these are the worst people on earth, and that maybe somebody should do something about it, and that your most important right is the one to have a weapon against government tyranny. If you just happen to think that that thing's tyrannical. Maybe you should go into Pelosi's house with a hammer. Maybe you should go to Obama and Raskin's house with machetes and weapons. Do I see anybody on Fox News calling it out? No one, zero.
Further, just to buttress your point, and remember, the reason why we know about these statements is because he was live streaming as he was in these various places, including Obama's neighborhood and the elementary school near Jamie Raskin's home. Going back to Jamie Raskin and what he had said while he was at the elementary school, Toronto further comments, and this is according to the prosecutor's memo, quote, I didn't tell anyone where he lives because I want him, meaning Raskin, all to myself, and that was Piney Branch Elementary School in Maryland, right next to where Representative Raskin and his wife live. So these are pretty specific threats, and I do think he poses a threat to various politicians, possibly other members of the public. So I do think that he should be detained pending a trial, and it should be a speedy trial. That's the one other thing I'll just say about all of this. Look, one of the, I think, legitimate complaints about the criminal justice system overall, of course you hear it on the left, usually you don't hear it in the context of like the January 6th rioters and stuff. Everyone has a right to a speedy trial. So for any January 6th rioter that might still be detained and hasn't seen their day in court, I do agree that that's ridiculous.
Yeah, look, I hear you, and they violate that concept every day, a million times a day, and they generally do it to poor and middle class people all across the country. So yeah, it also happens to apply to the people who tried to do a coup against our country. I'm gonna cry for them the least, but the overall principle is correct. And I'll tell you what, if I had Secret Service protection and this guy thinks it's cute to threaten my kids, I'd educate the Secret Service on stand your ground, okay? Because the last time white right-wingers came to attack and murder government officials, chanting things like hang Mike Pence, half the cops let them in. So I would be very clear with the cops and the Secret Service. If this guy's anywhere near my kids with a weapon, remember what stand your goddamn ground is, okay? And let's go, because what, the right wing is allowed to murder everyone, but the left wing can't even protect our kids? No, I'm not gonna agree to an uneven playing field. Thanks for watching The Young Turks, really appreciate it. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. You'll get to interact with us more. There's live chat emojis, badges. You've got emojis of me, Anna, John, JR, so those are super fun. But you also get playback of our exclusive member-only shows and specials right after they air. So all of that, all you gotta do is click that join button right underneath the video. Thank you.